Hello guys, and welcome back to the Folklore Hiking Stick Workshop. Although evidently we're not in the workshop, we're at the Phoenix United mine, which sits on the east side of Bodmin Moor. And from here, tin and copper was produced. You can go so far back as the Roman times, and tin and copper was a valuable export from Cornwall, and it was one of the most productive and renowned places for quality of tin and copper. You could even go slightly further back than that, and it was traded and exported all the way around Europe and even into the Mediterranean well before Roman times. So copper and tin are a valuable part of the Cornish heritage, export, and basically the identity of Cornwall. So that then brings me on to the point of why I put copper on the tips of my hiking sticks. Right, I'm back in the workshop and I've got a lot of wood burning to do today to get caught up and at least get some hiking sticks on some selling sites. I haven't really caught up in that aspect with it yet. But in any case, they've all got their copper tips on. I've got one here which is already completed, wood burned, and it's been oiled. And you can see that's the copper tip there itself. And here's the hiking stick. So I've already explained one of the reasons I actually use copper, and that is quite simply, as I've stated, it's part of the identity and heritage of Cornwall and the region that I actually live in. My hiking sticks, the wood is cut, sourced in Cornwall. I use copper for the tips as part of the identity, the Cornish identity. And obviously I basically craft them in Cornwall, and I've got a long-standing Cornish heritage within my family. So yeah, it kind of all marries together to give that authentic Cornish product that I produce here. Now, a second reason, and it's quite valid in its own right, I can manufacture the tips that I want to put on my hiking sticks with relative ease and with a very limited amount of tools. I don't need no specialist tools, and I don't need no specialist equipment or training to actually manufacture my tips. I do have videos showing you how I go about making those copper tips, but as a rule, it's a relatively easy material to work with. It just requires you to be careful, because even though it's a metal, it's still soft and you can damage it and misshape it. So as long as you apply a little bit of common sense while working it, most people after a very short period of time will be comfortable and familiar to make copper tips. I'm not the only person that's done it. Copper tips can be found in a wide variety of hiking sticks and people putting them on. It's nothing new what I'm doing here. It's only I'm using it, quite simply, like I said. Now, some people say copper isn't very hard wearing. Well, mine hiking sticks are advertised as that, hiking sticks for off-road, through the forests, up on the moors, through the trail system and footpaths, off-road in essence. And if you're going to be going onto man-made, hard man-made surfaces, or possibly surfaces that could be damaged by the metal of the copper, I suggest a ferrule. And because of the way a copper tip is, once I've finished manufacturing it, if somebody says they want a hiking stick, they like it, but they want to use it on a hard standing man-made surface, I can adapt it quite simply by putting the rubber ferrule on the top, leaving enough copper to give that authentic look and nice shine when it's polished leading into the wood. So I have the versatility to adapt it to the customer's needs. Also, getting back to hard wearing, this one here went around the Portuguese mountains 2 years ago, and I'm still using it a little bit to this day, and as you can see, it's still going. If I was using it on hard standing roads, it would have wore down slightly more, I'm sure, but in any case, it's still good for what I'm using it for, in its true manner of a hiking stick. So I have experimented with stainless steel, copper tubing, and I've also experimented with plastic, believe it or not. I've tried a wide range of materials, and I've had some success in all what I've done, but it still brings me back to the point, copper for me is the essence of where I'm living, and a product I'm trying to get is a regional product. And you know, that feeling that it's got that Cornwall connection, and even though the copper itself this day and age would not possibly be, or wouldn't be manufactured or mined in Cornwall, it's that notional suggestion that the copper adds to the Cornishness to the product, because quite simply it represents Cornwall, copper from the tin mines. Now, copper is readily available. I've got some offcuts here, and a portion of this has been donated to me. But you can see I've got copper tips here on these hiking sticks, which I'm about to wood burn. They all need polishing up, but they've all been fitted to various different lengths, as you can see, to fit the diameter of wood I'm working with. But these have got to be wood burned and finished and all polished up, including the metal. So as for other tips that you can buy ready-made that can go on metal ones, I do and occasionally have fitted them, but copper tips will always be my go-to because of the reasons I've previously explained. But if a customer adamantly says to me, I want a particular style of already pre-manufactured metal tip, whether it be alpine spike or an adjustable metal tip, which you can put multiple ends on, and that they've actually, you know, readily requested, I will try to accommodate. But it's not my go-to. Copper is. So in conclusion, if you were to buy an Irish stick from a well-renowned Irish crafter, a strong portion of your wanting to have that stick wouldn't just be the fact of the manufacturer, the quality that is indicated by the stamp of approval from that manufacturer. It would be the Irishness, the cultural representation within that stick that might play a part. Well, that's the same for me, as I've already explained. My sticks are Cornish cut, dried and crafted by myself, and the copper adds a representation of those mines, tin and copper mines, high up on the moors above me. I live just down in the valleys below. So that's my overarching reasons why I use that, use copper in my sticks. So I hope that clears up a few questions, with people wondering why I don't use pre-manufactured tips, why I don't experiment and use other types of metals or materials, or indeed using copper, using other sort of like methods with them. I just use what I've got here. It's readily available to me, and on top of that, it seems to work just fine as it is. So yeah, this is Andy from Folklore Hiking Sticks. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.